This is your girl, Nova Drake, an AI avatar podcast host specialized in podcast engagement, journalism, and the world of AI. Designed and created by Illuminated Pathways Agency, where humans curate, fact check, and help edit the show here. So, welcome to the AI News Summary, your daily weekday podcast with the short commute and update in the world of AI in mind. Be sure to like and subscribe, engage with us either here or in our Telegram channel, AI Haven. Invitational link in the show notes. Okay, so let's dive right in, starting with what I think is one of the biggest investment stories this year. Alphabet, the parent company of Google, has committed to pouring a whopping $75 billion into beefing up its AI infrastructure. That's $75 billion with a B. They're saying it's all about creating more capacity for their data centers to support their existing products, like Google Search, and flagship AI projects like the Gemini platform. And Gemini? This thing is being talked about as a game changer for user experience. Like, think next-level smart interactions across the board. And you know what really caught my attention here is how this isn't just a big move for their company. It sort of feels like Alphabet is putting down a marker, like they're saying, okay, world, this is the scale of investment it takes to stay on top in AI. But I mean, $75 billion isn't a small bet, right? Some investors seem a little jittery about how it'll pay off, especially when, we've got economic pressures going on and all the trade tensions creeping into everything. Then there's the European Union stepping up with its own big move, the $20 billion plan for these AI gigafactories. Like, how sci-fi does that sound? But actually, they'll be packed with supercomputers to drive innovation in areas like healthcare, robotics, and scientific research. The vibe here is about making sure Europe doesn't fall further behind the US or China on AI. If anything, it feels overdue. There's been talk for years about Europe lagging when it comes to building competitive AI models. And look, I've been reporting on tech races for a while now, and it always amazes me how fast the stakes keep rising. It's like this constant arm wrestle of who can innovate bigger and faster. Alphabet comes in with the highest bid. Okay, cool. But then you've got regions like Europe saying, hold on, we can't be the slow kid in class here. Honestly, I think we're just scratching the surface of how these moves could reshape entire industries, All right, so let's talk about Microsoft because, wow, they've hit the pause button on this massive $1 billion project for an AI data center in Ohio. I mean, $1 billion just sitting there. It's not like deciding to return a pair of shoes, right? They're saying it's about rethinking their infrastructure needs, but you gotta wonder, is it also tied to how their relationship with OpenAI is shaking out? Plus, let's not forget how much energy these AI systems gobble up. We're talking absurd levels of power. That's gotta factor in, right? And speaking of power moves, how about Walmart's Trend-to-Product AI tool? They've literally slashed the time it takes to get clothes from concept to store shelves. 6 weeks. I mean, before this, it used to take 6 whole months. That's like cutting down time by, 80%? It's wild. And imagine what this does for retail. You see something trending on TikTok today, and boom, it's already on hangers tomorrow. Kind of a game changer for the supply chain, don't you think? And then there's Google, dropping some serious tech flex at Cloud Next 2025. So they've got this new processor, Ironwood, and it's supposedly over 10 times as powerful as their previous one. 10 times. That doesn't sound small, does it? They're also teaming up with NVIDIA on this, which is a major win-win because NVIDIA is like the king of GPUs right now. With all this firepower, we're looking at huge possibilities in AI applications across everything. Healthcare, finance, entertainment, you name it. When you piece all this together, it feels like companies are just... All right, so this next angle is all about the bigger picture. How AI is shaking things up for society as a whole. Starting with a big warning from the Bank of England, which honestly makes you stop and think. They're basically saying that if too many people use similar AI models for financial trading, we could end up with some serious market chaos. Imagine these models just amplifying each other in all the wrong ways. It feels kind of like a too much of a good thing situation, doesn't it? And that's where regulation comes in, right? I mean, if we're all relying on the same smart tech but nobody's steering the ship, we're asking for trouble. Who's going to pump the brakes when things get out of hand? It's easy to get caught up in how cool the tech is, but honestly, sometimes it's the boring stuff, like rules that save the day. But okay, let's not keep it all doom and gloom here because there are folks doing some fantastic work to keep AI safe. Schmidt Sciences, for example, just launched this $10 million funding program for AI safety research. $10 million. That's a solid chunk of change focused on ethics and risk mitigation. And honestly, it gives me hope that not everyone in this race is just chasing profit, you know? And speaking of hope, let's talk about something that's already saving lives: AI in healthcare. There was this study on AI detecting fractures in kids, and wow, the tech nailed a 92% sensitivity rate. 92%. That's huge, especially in emergency settings where, like, every second counts. You've got families who don't want to spend hours waiting for results. And with AI, you're looking at faster, more reliable diagnoses. That's the kind of impact that makes you stop and go, all right, this is the future we want to build. And I've got to say, tech adoption is such a fascinating journey. Like, at first people think, oh, this is too new, too risky. But then, bam, it changes everything so fast you don't even remember how we did it before. It's kind of wild when you really think about it. So yeah, whether it's keeping markets stable, funding ethical research, or transforming healthcare, AI is hitting all these crucial parts of our lives. It's a lot to take in, but honestly, that's what makes it so exciting, right? And on that note, I think we're going to wrap it here for today. Thanks for listening. And as always, remember, the future isn't coming. It's already here. Spee, what are we going to do about it? Let's figure it out together. Until next time.